Hi, that was cheesy, and I'm Matthew Hardy. Welcome to my video for my 15-1-12 term project, FlyPy Valley. I hope you enjoy. Now we're back. I have the Oculus on. I'm going to run my code. So the first thing that the user will see is the menu, which I rendered in TK-Enter. It asks you just to press any key to continue. You press any key, which I just did, and it'll tell you the directions. You're going to fly around your heart's delight using the arrow keys. Up and down will be to fly forward and backwards. It's rather intuitive. And to the left and to the right, you can rotate to the left and to the right using left and right arrow keys. And it also directs you, if you want to play online multiplayer, which we'll get to in a minute, you will find more detailed instructions in the multiplayer how-to file. Alright, let's get on with this. Press any key to start rendering the valley. And there's about 2 seconds between the key press and the actual rendering of the valley. And my desktop seems to glitch out a little bit, but trust me, my computer is fine. And now let's enter the Rift. Okay, so you are seeing now on the screen what I am seeing through my two eyes. So you see two viewports, is what they're called in OpenGL, and I'm using Python's wrapper for OpenGL. So the way this is being sent to both of my eyes is through two sub-windows within the window, and they're kind of offset within the world. That way it kind of represents your two eyes in the real world. What we're looking at now is a randomly selected map from a list of maps I have in the resources folder. I believe this map is called Blotchy Map, but these are one of many. As you can see, I'm pressing the up arrow key as we speak, and I'm not pressing any other key, just flying around just to my heart's delight using my line of sight vector, which is just calculated from the data I retrieved from repeated calls to get orientation for the Oculus Rift, which sends back data. I'm using the right arrow key right now to kind of orient myself, but back to the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift is getting orientation data like through its hardware, and it's sending it back to my Python code, and that comes in the form of yaw, pitch, and roll, and I will demonstrate these now. Yaw will be rotating around the x-axis, and as you can see, it fits my expectations in that when I look left, I see something to my left. When I look right, I see something to my right. When I look up, this is pitch. When I look down, I see what I want to see below me. When I look up, I see sky. That makes sense to me as a user. Now, let's find a good place to demonstrate roll, which is around the z-axis. There is some confusion between the z-axis roll and what you are expecting to see in the world. Whereas when you tilt your neck in real life, the world kind of seems to tilt around you. You don't really notice it, but that's how it has to be translated into code, and that I need to rotate the world in the opposite direction for it to fit my expectations of tilting my head right so the world seems to tilt to the left, as it does through these rendering screens. Okay, moving on. I am able to fly around anywhere I like, but my favorite feature is coming up next, and that is multiplayer. Okay, so now let's talk about multiplayer. Multiplayer was kind of like this last minute idea. Originally I thought that this would just be a single player game where you fly around this valley. But I was really inspired by an idea. A big shout out to Alex O'Neill for giving me this idea and actually helping me through it. I don't think that this would be in the final product if I didn't have a lot of his help with sockets and with threads. So we'll go through a little bit the game server and game client. These are the two power classes that are running these communications between the machines. pretty much the networking that's going on. So game server will be run on a machine, either your desktop or a remote host, and you need to preferably set your IP as a static IP, and you write it down and you hard code it into here. And when you run your server, it'll pop up like this in your terminal. You're going to run it. It says server started. My address is this, and this is the IP address you're going to share with your friends, so that they can also play with you on the same server. And what your friends are doing, pretty much, and yourself, so you can play on the same map, is you're going to go to FlyPy Valley, and you're going to input the host name at the top, right here. And this host will be input as data into a game client instance, and game client basically facilitates the communication between each of the players' machines and the server. And the communication will pretty much go like this. Each player will send their data, like their X and Y and Z positions, and then they will receive data, all the other players' data from the server accordingly, so that they can draw it in their own instances of FlyPy Valley. So it's basically like the other players are actually there, but they are not. It's just allowing them to draw each other. They're holograms on each other. So this is using sockets, and this is also using threads, even though they're kind of forbidden. That was the only way to get around some limitations of handling several connections at once. The way I have the game built out right now is you can have 4 Oculus Rifts flying around in the same space. Obviously, I only have, well, fortunately, I have 2 Oculus Rifts at my disposal, but I don't see 4 Oculus Rifts as too much of an edge case at this moment. So, as you can see in the videos, the players are being, other players are being rendered as different colored spheres. And the cool thing about when a player disconnects, they can reconnect before the server. The server can be left running all the time, and the other players can keep playing. But if one player disconnects, they can reconnect, and they will keep their same color, and they'll just start off in the middle of the map. I believe that's also in the videos. It's an excellent feature, and I found it very, very, very noteworthy. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoy spending a lot of time with the Oculus Rift, with PyOpenGL, with servers, sockets. I think this project was extremely helpful and beneficial for my learning experience, and thank you very much for watching.